I'm Grace, and this is the Fighting Club podcast, a space where being together makes us stronger. Take a break and hang out with Bobae and me. All right, guys, I'm just so excited to introduce my very good friend in DC. She's actually from Philly. And just off of the Super Bowl victory for the Philadelphia Eagles too. So
Oh,
welcome,
go birds.
Bobe.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Go birds.
Where were you on Super Bowl day? Can you
Uh,
share
I
kind of like what that day was like at night?
I was with a group of friends from Philly at a friend's house in Philly, and he lived like one block from Walnut Street and then like another from Broad. So we just got to go out on the streets and celebrate. It was
Was it
incredible.
epic?
It was epic. Like I felt like the Eagles were already like there was like already a parade, but the energy was amazing. Everybody was so happy. And when Eagle people say Eagles fans are mean and angry, not that night.
Really? It was
Yeah.
just joyous and good vibes.
Yeah, everyone's so happy, just like high-fiving each other, hugging. It was
Oh,
so fun.
I love that.
Yeah, so
And you
I'm so
brought
glad I
that.
got to celebrate it with friends.
Yeah, congrats in your own
Thanks.
hometown for the victory.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited that people get to know a little bit more about our friendship story. And I thought it'd be fun to like walk down lane together and talk about how we first met and first impression. You know, I feel like we shared it so many times with our new friends, but
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely had a bias against you, but
a
among
Korean bias.
yeah, I had a Korean bias. But I was like in DC, no, like I grew up with only like pretty much Korean friends in the outside of Philadelphia and then church friends. And then in college, I only had like pretty much Korean friends. So then when I moved to DC, like I had zero Korean friends and it was so different for me. I was like, oh, like actually my childhood Korean friends and my friends from back home is enough. Like
Mm.
because I started to realize like Korean girls especially can at the same time very be supportive, uplifting, but at the same time can be very like competitive and like comparing.
Yeah.
So I experienced a lot of that. So I became friends with Rebecca Lee, our mutual friend
Yes.
first,
Who's not Korean,
who's
even though
not
her
Korean.
last
She's
name could
Chinese.
be Korean.
Yep, she's Chinese American, and she kept talking about you. She's like, "Oh, you have to meet my friend Grace, Grace Choi," and I was like, "No, thank you." Is she Korean? And she was like, "Yeah,"
Couldn't be
and
friends
then
with
and I was
Korean
like,
women.
"No, thank you. I like have enough Korean friends. Like, I don't need to like add more into my pot." And she's like, "No, no, no." She's like different. Like, I understand where you're coming from, but she's so different. She's like, "Please, like, can you just like." I think you guys would get along so well. I was like, well, if we end up hanging out, we end up hanging out. I'm not gonna go out of my way.
Yeah.
And then I think it was like a Kapal happy hour or some type of
Yeah. Happy hour
networking.
reception. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you were there, but obviously it was like a professional networking session first.
Yeah.
And she's like, "This is my friend Grace, like meet Bobae." And you're like, "Hi, I'm Grace Troy, like nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah." And they kind of like moved on. And I was like, see, that's exactly why I don't like
Wait,
Korean
so what did
people.
you think? I was like stiff or
Yeah,
something?
I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. And then I was like, oh, all right. Like you were friendly, but like you
Cold.
yeah, you were just like, okay, next, because you just had to
Professional.
like
Yeah,
work
yeah.
the room. It was
Yeah.
nothing towards me. It was like
Yeah.
you had a mission. You had to say you're the mayor of DC, you're the mayor of Atlanta, you're the
Yeah.
mayor of New York. Like you have to do your duties, right? And then I told Rebecca, I was like, yeah, nope, I don't like her. And then she's like, no, 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 give her a second chance. Like, you have, like, I don't know, like, Rebecca was so really adamant of us
He's my
becoming friends.
ambassador,
Yeah. And she just like loved you. She had like
friendship ambassador.
nothing but incredible things to say.
Oh.
So then we did like like just a regular chill happy hour at 18th Street Lounge, was it?
Oh, yeah, our favorite bar when we were younger.
Yeah, and then like you had come in from like a work thing
Uh-huh.
and you were just like, oh, like just dropping off your stuff. And I was like, oh, see, like she's gonna be like so stiff and all this stuff. And then you're like, give me the strongest drink here. And you're just like, all right, I'm just ready to let loose. Okay, no more work. I'm not talking about work. Let's just have fun. And she's like, hi, I'm Grace. Like, how are you? Like blah blah blah. And I was like, oh, is this the same person I met like before? So
Yeah.
like that really like loosened up the mood. And then we
You went to
went,
Vegas.
well, no, we went to cabin weekend.
Oh, it's cabin weekend
Remember?
first? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like we like hung out and we knew of each other and then we went to
Yeah.
cabin weekend, which once again our friend Rebecca, she puts together this amazing like cabin weekend every year for us. And
A
so
weekend
you can,
getaway with all of our friends.
yeah, right outside of
Is
DC. So you
yeah.
came and you were so sweet, so fun. And I think that's where we like started to like talk and bond. And then you were, I think, in a relationship at the time. So like obviously you were like, working, had a relationship. So when things ended, Rebecca's like, Grace is single. Like, let's go out. And like Rebecca was single. So she was like, us
We're
three were
all
single.
single.
Yeah.
Having
So I
fun.
think it worked out perfectly. We were like, oh, we can just like hang out and be each other's like boyfriends, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and so we started doing those happy hours, going out to 18th Street
Oh my
Lounge.
God,
And
18th
like,
Street Lounge used to be our spot in DuPont
yeah,
Circle
exactly. And like,
before I moved to the new location.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But you were just so different from where I would always see you. Then one time to time, I would be invited to these professional outings,
Yeah.
and you just had this other personality. Then it became more
So
of a
interesting.
respect. Like it just evolved into like, oh, I respect her because you just knew how to work and have like be like a go getter. I mean, excuse my language, but a boss ass bitch. Uh, and then like you just then know how to turn that off completely when you're with your friends and you just like are just so warm and like so bubbly. And I was like, oh, I love this that you can just like switch that. And so the initial reaction of me being ew no became like whoa that's so like respectful to do.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that. I think I've gotten that like a lot in the professional space that I seem standoffish or a little intimidating because I'm like so professional.
Yeah.
Don't show like how like I can be when I'm with my friends outside of work stuff that I can
Mhm.
also like let loose and have a really good time. Like I love
Yeah.
just vibing with people. So
And you like really care for your friends. Like you're so like you have such a deep heart and it like really translates. And that's why like whatever city you go to, like you have so many amazing friends that want to show up for you and support
um,
you. So it just goes to say that like as much as yeah, you might be intimidating, that's why you're so successful. But then also that's why you have such a great community of friends and family that also support you in a personal way.
oh, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Wait. Well, I'm just so grateful for our friendship too, because you're one of my closest friends who happened to be in DC, and I just love like how authentic, kind-hearted, um, yeah, you're just like so compassionate and smart and very, very just loyal as a friend
Oh,
too. And I think you draw really high quality people around you because of who you are.
thanks.
Um, and we have such a good time. Like
Yeah.
we have fun. I just remember when I lived in DC because I lived out in Northern Virginia. We would go out in DC and I would just crash at your place like regularly. It's either your place or Rebecca's.
And we're like, you can Uber home. Like you're
Yeah,
more than welcome to stay. But I'm like, Grace, you can also like not
go
be
home.
crammed in my bed. And
Oh yeah, we're sharing a bed.
yeah. And then you're like, no, I don't want to go home. You're like, I'm having so much fun. And then I'm like, yeah, no, you're more than welcome to. But I'm like, most people, they're like, no, I want to go in the
I want to
comfort
go
of my own
home.
bed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but no, it was so funny because I like my roommate at the time was like, oh, does she live out in like Falls Church, Fairfax, which is like
Which is
45.
suburbs of
Yeah.
Virginia,
And I was like, no, she lives in Roslyn
which
across
is
the
right
bridge.
across the bridge from DC. It's not that far.
Yeah, no, but honestly, those times actually like I think we bonded more, right?
Yeah.
And
Good.
I'm an only child, so my friends are pretty much, I feel like my siblings. So when my friends act so comfortable and vulnerable with me, I love it. Like being like, can I just sleep over? I'm like, oh, yeah, of course. Or like, can I wear this? I'm like,
Oh,
yeah, I'm like, please. Like I love that, right? Because I didn't have that. But you just like were so comfortable with me. And like I love
maybe
that.
too comfortable.
And honestly,
Yeah.
what was such an honor was when you were on the Stacey Abrams campaign
Oh yeah.
and you would come visit DC once in a while, you would always like make the effort to stay with me one night or invite me to things. And that made me feel so special because I'm like, you're
Oh.
so busy and you have
No,
so
but
many
you are
things.
special. You're one of those people that really fills people up and is a bright energy. Like, of course we have our downs, but I just love how you're such a great encourager too, and that you can receive love from your friends. Um, yeah, our mutual friend Priska, who I started this podcast with, just talk about how of all my friends, she likes you the most, and she's like, Bobae is the best. I'm like, she is. There's something very special about you that draws people to you too. So I think I was just so happy when yeah, when Rebecca introduced us, we got to spend so much quality time living in DC together
Yeah.
and introducing you to my friends at our wedding in Seattle a couple years ago and for you and Priska to meet. Um, and then for us to then have like a really amazing DC girls trip
Yeah.
curated by you,
Oh,
which that was so fun.
yeah, no, and I think we get so caught up in our own lives and we're
Yeah,
busy. And obviously we prioritize work,
yeah,
relationships, family,
yeah,
obviously in the manner, and you have to. But I think as women,
yeah,
especially like this next generation of
yeah,
uh millennial and
yeah.
Gen Z women, is that we got to take time for ourselves. And I think I'm in a fortunate position where I'm still single. I don't have a lot of priorities that take more than my work, right? Then my next priorities is like my family, which is
Yeah,
my mom
yeah,
or my friends. So
yeah.
it's easy for me to be like, hey, come to DC. Like, I'm happy to plan this for you and that. So I'm glad that you guys were able to like come and relax and just enjoy it. So it was my pleasure to like, you know, create a couple things, but I think also it takes a two-way street to receive that type of love and things. So it's just like as much as you just said very complimented things about me, it's because like you also give that back.
Mm, mm. Yeah, no, we got to eat at some delicious restaurants together that I had never been to, and it was fun to experience that with Priska.
Yeah.
And I feel like we did a lot. Like we ate, and then I can't remember everything we did, but I do remember, didn't we go out to karaoke and stay out really late, and then had trouble
Yeah.
making it to brunch the next day or something?
Yeah, we did karaoke and then we did brunch and then you missed your blowout
Oh, my
appointment.
blowout appointment. They were like, you're 15 minutes late. You can't do it anymore. It was for
Yeah.
the gala that I was there for.
Yeah,
Oh
for the
my God.
gala. And then I think you guys were still so hungover and you
Yeah.
guys had to do another like party or event had to go to, or oh
Oh,
no, you created another karaoke night
oh.
outing. Remember? And so
No, I
then
don't.
I had to bring like Gatorade and like I
Like
liquid
what ID?
IV and stuff like that to like get you to be like, okay, Grace, it's
Oh
I
my
felt like
gosh.
you were like the first lady or something, and then I had to be like, all right, next event, we have to get
Oh,
you.
sorry. Oh yeah, didn't I do my hair at your place because I couldn't do the blowout? Or
Oh, I think I brought some stuff to your hotel room.
oh my God. What a mess. Oh my God, thank you so much for being so generous
No.
and dealing with my chaos.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing that I think we bonded so much is when we went to Vegas
Yes, talk about Vegas.
because
That was such a great trip.
one of our good friends was turning 30.
Yeah, it was his
Um,
30th birthday party. Birthday
yeah.
trip to Vegas
And then we were like, oh, let's travel together. And so we
from
were going from
DC.
DC to BWI, the
Yeah,
Baltimore airport.
yeah,
And I have never traveled with you.
yeah,
And you are so type A in your
yeah,
professional life.
yeah.
I thought it translated a little bit of that type A-ness to your personal life. So I remember I was at the train station and I think we had like I was there like 10-15 minutes early, which that's normal for me. And then you're like, I'm on my way. And I'm like, on my way, as in like 2 minutes away. And you're like, no, I'll be there in 10 minutes. I was like, Grace, the train leaves in 10 minutes. And I like started to panic. And you're like, no, don't worry, it's fine. I'll get there. I'll get there. And like we get on the train like right when they're about to shut the door.
Oh my
And,
God.
and then I was like, oh, and then you're like, sorry, like I just got caught up. I was like, no worries. But at this point, I thought you were just like running late. So you're like, sorry, but I have to take a phone call. And I was like, okay, but I've never been to BWI. Do you know like what, like where we gotta get
What
off and what we
station to
gotta
get off
do?
at on the train?
You're like, yeah, all the time, no worries, it's fine. And then like you're on this call, and then like obviously I'm an idiot too. I should have heard like they said BWI, but they say BWI and you're like not moving. And
You
then
trust me too much.
yeah, and then I didn't want to interrupt you, so I'm like, hey, Grace, like, um, is this our stop? And you're like,
BWI.
no, it's BWI. And I'm like, this is BW. And you're like, like, oh no. And then we missed the stop. Remember we had to
Yeah,
get
we
off the
missed
next
it. The
one.
train started pulling away by the time
Yeah, so like
we
at
got
this point, I'm like, oh, okay, still a little like chaos, but she's just like started off on the wrong foot. And
there.
then we missed it, almost missed it again. And I was like, Grace, I think we got to get off here. And you're like, yeah, take it down the
Oh
suitcases.
yeah,
So
because then we went to the one stop after and then
yeah,
got back on the train on the way
yeah.
back because the train
And
person
then
was okay.
exactly.
And
And
we
then
almost missed it again.
and I was like, wait, we gotta get up. And you're like, take the suitcases down. And I was like, oh, okay. And then like it's all this chaos, right? And then we get to the airport. Luckily, we still had like enough time.
Yeah.
And then we're eating because you're like, I'm so hungry. Like, let's eat. I
We
was like,
went to
yeah,
the
yeah.
lounge.
No, before that, remember we were at the
Oh.
restaurant, like,
Oh.
and then I realized I had the priority pass.
Oh.
And then I was like, oh crap, Grace, next time we'll go to the priority lounge. And then you're like, let's go now.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, we only have 30 minutes before we board. And you're like,
Yeah.
plenty of
Plenty
time.
of time.
And luckily the lounge was right next to where we were eating.
Yeah.
So we get there and you're like, okay, two mimosas, like you
Yeah.
knew exactly like
Champagne. Yeah.
you're drinking, having fun. I was like, hey, should we like head out yet? And you're like, no, we got
Oh my God.
time. It's fine. And at this point, it's like we're getting notifications like your plane is boarding. And I was like,
Yeah.
Grace, we gotta go. And you're like,
Yeah.
we gotta go. And then we started like
Running.
running.
We
And
started running to the gate.
I think as I was running, I was like, Grace, do you always travel like this? And you're like, yeah. And I was like, oh. I was like, can you warn me next time that you're a traveler like this? And then like years later, when I met Trevor, I was like, hey, by any chance has like Grace gotten better at traveling? He's like, you mean by like running all over the airport? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, no, she's the same.
Poor guy. He's always like, we don't have time to go to the lounge. We need to go straight to the gate. I'm like, no, we can go to the lounge. I'm still negotiating with him.
Yeah. It's
I
like,
like I have this extra like 15-30 minute buffer in my head, not real. And then I'm like, we can take our time. And then the gate is only like a 20-minute
yeah.
walk on the other side
And
of
then
the
you're like, I didn't know. And you're like, we gotta run. I'm like, oh, okay. But oh my
Didn't
God.
he almost close the door on us?
Yeah, literally. We're like, no, like please, like this
Please
is
keep it
time.
open.
And then like everybody was staring at us when we were like getting on the plane. And I just like remember I was like, oh wow, like this she travels like this. And then when we got to Vegas, like
Vegas.
um it's so funny because like we had like a bunch of like these different parties and day parties we're going to. And then every time we're
Oh yeah, we went to
pre
night party
yeah,
at night to pool party and the music.
yeah. And then every time we were pre-gaming or getting ready,
Yeah.
you would be like, you're like, hey, so can I play some music? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And you're like, so can I play Christian music? And then me
The
and Rebecca,
pregame before we
we're
go
like,
out
we're like,
party.
sure. And then it just like felt really weird because we're like getting ready, putting on makeup, putting on some really like, Vegas type clothes. And then it's like in the background, you go, oh, Jesus, I love you. I'm devoting my life to you. And it's like, and then my friends like, and then Rebecca's like pouring shots. It's like, okay, like we got to drink. And it's like, and I think I
Hallelujah.
remember one point Rebecca's like, Grace, can we listen to something else? And you're like, no, I really like listening to this when we pregame. And we're like, okay.
Oh no. Oh my God.
But like honestly, I think it kind of like protected us because like
Yeah, we had such an amazing, clean, safe time in Vegas. It was
yeah, like there
time.
was like no creepy guys at all, like
Creepy guys.
nothing.
No
And
weird
then
stuff.
we got one of the promoters to get us into the day party with chain smokers.
Oh yeah, we
And
accidentally
and
ended up
then
backstage, right?
yeah, we were
That was
supposed to continue going, and we thought we got like invited to the like
amazing.
backstage
Backstage
party,
VIP.
and then we're like partying, and the security is like, "Where's your wristband?" And we're like,
Yeah,
"No, don't
the
worry,
VIP
we're supposed."
wristband.
Yeah, they're like, "We're supposed to be here," and they're like, "Ladies, leave."
No, get out of here. You're not VIP. Go with the police.
Exactly.
No, but we
Um,
got to hang out with them. We got to like the chain smokers were right in front of us.
yeah, like we were there for like at least a good 15 minutes
Yeah.
before
Oh,
they
remember
noticed us.
the night pool party you went to, and then somebody was crying while listening to music.
Avicii, and you're like, "Oh, did somebody die?" And then it's like,
I didn't
yeah,
know who Avicii was.
yeah. And then he was like, yeah, my high school friend. And then she was like, oh, his high school friend died. And someone was like, his high school friend was Avicii. And she's like, oh, that's sad. And then we're like, Grace, you have no idea who Avicii is to you.
I don't know. Avicii's song was playing. I
Yeah,
was like, that's so sad. I'm sorry.
yeah,
I was like, why is this song making him cry about a friend who passed away? It's like techno music. I was just so confused. I didn't realize he's a DJ, a techno DJ.
oh my
Damn
gosh.
DJ.
And then I wanted to go see the Bellagio water show,
Uh-huh.
remember? And then
Uh-huh.
we got the Uber, and you were like so sad because you're like, "Oh, I didn't like get to go to church or listen
Church
to
on
any
Sunday.
sermon today. It was
Yeah.
Sunday." And I was like, yeah, I'm sure God will forgive you for like not listening to one sermon. And then our Uber driver's like, I'm a pastor. And then Grace is like, oh, no way. And then she was like, did you give a sermon today by any chance? And he's like, yeah. He's like, you want to hear it? And you're like,
He
yeah.
gave us a mini sermon in the 15, 20-minute Uber drive to the fountains. It was amazing. I was like, oh, I wanted this. This is great.
You're like, this is just exactly what I needed tonight.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was like 9 years
Oh
ago.
my gosh. Yeah. Holy
Almost a
crap.
decade ago. So much has happened.
Yeah. But um, yeah. And then like I think our friendship is also like as much as like when we have fun in person,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
We can like we don't need to talk every day, right? But we
Yeah.
still like I remember during COVID, we still like FaceTimed once in a
Yeah.
while and checked up, but like it just picks up from where we left off.
Yes. Yes.
And like no one's offended if like we haven't like reached out in a while because
Yeah.
like we know there's life, but we always think of each other. So like you're always so good with to reach out whenever you're here in DC, and then when I visit New York, I like we get to hang out. So like I think throughout the years that's how our friendship has been able to just continue so strongly.
Yeah. It's like that trust and just like deep chong. It's like
Yeah.
connection that we have. with each other.
Hmm.
And I think we really do work at it. Like when we do see each other, we prioritize spending quality time together,
Yes. And you know what
not
I
just touch
love
and go. Yeah.
I love about you is that when you make time for your friends, it's not a 30-minute, 45-minute increment. Like
Mhm.
you dedicate your time to your friends. And then if you can bring other friends in to have a joint hangout, absolutely. But you always take the time to have like one-on-one time with me, which I appreciate
Yeah.
because especially when you come to DC, like you have so many people that want to see you and hang out with you, but you always prioritize like at least getting drinks with me or dinner
Yeah.
with me or afterwards spending some time
Yeah.
with me. And I really appreciate that.
Oh, well, I love my Bobae time. Well, it also reminds me when I try to bring you into my world and you're resisting it, like the Korean. I remember I invited you to a Korean gala, and then Daniel Henney was Daniel Henney was like this actor model guy, Korean American actor model guy, celebrity. He was the honoree at this gala, and I was so excited. He's like my favorite Korean celebrity. And I was like, Bobe, you should come as my guest. And you're like, I don't want to go to this Korean stuff. I don't like that stuff.
And you're like, please, like I got you a ticket.
Yeah,
Like my friends like somehow got this. It's really
yeah,
like a nice gala.
yeah,
All you need is like a dress. And I was like,
yeah.
I mean, you're if you're like putting this much effort, I can't keep saying no. So I was like,
I know
sure.
you kept saying no, and then I was like, you need to come
Yeah.
with me.
And then all night you're like, I just like one picture with Daniel Henney. Like I
Just need
just
a
need to like
photo.
one photo. I was like, okay, like I'll try to like help you.
I
And
was
then
so nervous too. Like I normally am not nervous, and I was just like, I can't go up to him. I'm so scared.
yeah,
And
and then
then,
I you went to the bathroom
yeah,
and I was like, I'll just stand here. And I guess it was right where he was like getting ready and stuff.
yeah, next
Is
to
the
his room where he's
door.
getting ready.
And he came out and there was like nobody there. I was like, hi, I don't want to be annoying, but can I just get one picture with you? And he's like, yeah, 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 of course. And then we took a selfie and then you came and I was like, wait, one for my friend too. And then his manager's like, no, we gotta go. And then I was like,
Because then
Grace,
people started mobbing him right after that.
yeah,
You got the photo that I was trying to get the entire night, and you almost didn't come to the event with me. I was like,
exactly.
this is what I have to do, like care less than what happened. I care about this way too much. This is not a good thing to care about. What a waste of energy.
Oh my
And you're not even
gosh.
looking for it. You're like, who is this? I don't really care, but I guess he's like good looking and he's right in front of me. You're like, I guess he's famous.
But you know, that's what I realized about life is that when you
Yeah.
want something so much,
Yeah.
it doesn't happen. But when you finally let it go, like you're
Yeah.
just like, you know what? It's in like God's hands.
Yeah.
It's not in my
Yeah.
like control anymore.
Yeah.
It just falls right where it's
I
supposed to fall.
know. It's
It
so crazy. I
it
know.
turns out to be even better than what you were actually planning it to be or expecting it to be. So
Hmm.
yeah, like definitely I've learned to like just let things go and go with the flow.
Is there anything in particular, like an example of that, where you like were holding on to it, something so hard, and then once you let go, like it happened and it happened the way it's supposed to?
You know, honestly, like my like job opportunities, it's just like I would want it so much and I would
Yeah.
want it in a particular way or want
Yeah.
that particular position.
Yeah.
And then months and months and months, I would go through like agony because it
Yeah.
would not work out. And then
Yeah.
when finally I was like, you know what? If it's supposed to happen, if it's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And then it would like turn out to be like the most easiest way I would get the position or the perfect
Yeah.
opportunity that arises. So a lot of I think the job opportunity kind of goes
Yeah.
that way. And then like living situations, I'm just like recently I just moved, but like
Yeah.
for a while I'm like I wanted it a specific way. I wanted this, I wanted that, I wanted only
Yeah.
this for my apartment. And I was like, wait, I'm never gonna find that in my budget. So I just
Yeah.
kind of was like, last resort, let's just check out this building. And it
Yeah.
was like the perfect like
Wow. Everything you
situation.
wanted.
Yeah.
Wow. I love that.
Hmm.
What an amazing life lesson.
Yeah.
It's
So
like once you let go of things, things will happen the way it's supposed to.
yeah, and I know I truly believe like people should have 5-year plans, 10-year plans,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I don't even know what I'm gonna do like next week. So
Yeah.
when you focus so much in the future, sometimes you forget to live life now.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah, so
Word.
as much as like you should know
Yeah,
generally,
yeah, have somewhat of a plan.
yeah, like have fun now. I'm all
But
about like,
also be okay with getting rid of the plan and adjusting. Just like throw it out the window
yes,
too.
yeah, and but
And maybe the
honestly,
plan will happen in a very different way, like you're saying. It'll still happen.
exactly. Or like see it in a different light. Like if it's something
Yeah,
doesn't keep working, you just like view it and like, okay, why is this not working?
yeah,
There must be a reason why, and
yeah,
maybe it's not supposed to be in my favor then, right? That's
yeah,
maybe the way that you can just change your mentality.
yeah. No, that's good. That's good. It's a good reminder to me too. To like don't hold on to things so much. Like trying to take a photo with Daniel Henney.
Now that you've let it go
Yeah, maybe it will happen.
this year,
Actually, I still haven't let it go. I need to
oh,
work on that. I need to like really chill out
you know what
when
you
it
should
comes
do?
in.
Write it on a piece of paper and
Yeah.
then like
Light it
lift
on
it up.
fire,
Yeah, and then just like let it into the
put it out the
universe.
window. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let it fly away from me.
Yeah, exactly. And then Daniel Henley will fall right into your arms.
Well, I'm just so glad that we became friends because it's been how long has it been? Like over a decade now.
Yeah, I think it's like coming up
Well,
on 10 years.
more than 10 years because 9 years ago was Vegas. So it must be more.
No, Vegas was 2018.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it wasn't that long ago. Why do I feel
Well, it
like,
was long ago.
oh, you know what it is? It was Jason's 30th, not my
Yeah,
30th.
not
Like,
yours.
that's my math is so bad. I'm a bad age. I was like, that wasn't that like 9 years ago when I was 30? Oh yeah, that wasn't my birthday party. That was Jason's 30th. Okay, that makes so much okay, we're almost approaching a decade, but you know what? I think we're gonna be lifelong friends.
Oh, I hope so.
Decade.
I wasn't even thinking that there was a timeline for this friendship.
No, like, well,
I didn't know it's
some
like
people,
expiring.
well, some people, I just don't know if I'll still be friends with them 10, 20 years later, but I know with you, we will be.
Yeah, I've realized in the last couple of years with
Yeah.
friendship is that there's certain friends that were just supposed to be different chapters in your life, and that's totally fine. But I
Yeah.
feel like I was having a hard time being
Mm.
like, why aren't we friends anymore? Why isn't it like it
Mm.
used to be? But I realized, oh no, this friend was just supposed to be in my life during
That period.
that
Mm.
period, and it's totally fine that that person is no longer
Oh,
in my life.
yeah.
But then you better be in my life forever.
Forever. Forever.
Yeah.
What I also love is that we can call each other out on stuff too and keep each other grounded.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I do need to work on my time management though. That's like a real, I need to work more on my personal life and just like have things more in order, like my professional life. That's like I feel. Poor Trevor. My husband has to deal with all this stuff in our personal life in our marriage.
That's why he has a patience of a saint.
He does. He's the right match for me.
Yeah.
You know, it's a I think God has a sense of humor with both of us being together, married to
But
each other because we both have
he knew what he was doing.
yeah, because we both have strange quirks, but it makes us uniquely us. Um, I want to transition to something we've been doing in season two, which is
Mhm.
sharing about our joy corner because, it's just been kind of a tough time. You're in DC and there's just crazy stuff happening in our nation's capital. And not only that, but like people personally deal with a lot of challenging stuff too. And
Yeah.
we wanted to create this corner called the Joy Corner so that people like you could share what are the things that really make you happy, that people wouldn't know you care about or like to do or really enjoy doing. So for example, for me, I had mentioned on the first episode that I love reality TV show and celebrity gossip. Priska shared that she loves playing piano and
Uh-huh.
acting, which is so much more respectful than. But what would be in Bobae's Joy Corner?
So, you know what I recently actually got so much joy and
Yeah.
healing from
Yes.
is a couple weeks ago, I was just having a really bad day. Something happened, and I shared that with my two girlfriends who live here in DC. They're like one of my closest friends. And one of them immediate was like, I'm coming over tonight. I'll bring the wine. And my other friend's like, yes. And in that moment, I was like, oh, that would be so nice. But I didn't want to burden my friends. So I was
Yeah.
like, no, no, it's fine. Like, I don't want, like, no, this is like a weekday. Like, you guys should
Yeah.
rest. And they were like, no, absolutely not. We're coming. And
Mhm.
they came. And I will say that was the most healing,
Oh.
amazing time I've had in a very long time. And it just all it took was me being vulnerable with my friend of like, hey, I had a bad day. And my friends were like, I gotta show up for you. So my friends and I, we've decided that this year, every time I think also is that we live in this society that we're so scared of burdening others. We're
Yes.
so scared of, oh, me
I don't
telling
want to
you,
trouble you with my
yes, if I
issues.
tell you my struggles, you have your struggles. Now you have to
Yeah.
deal with my struggle. Like we
Yeah.
have so much that back and forth, but I
Yeah.
think we all have a maturity level of like being able to handle that. So
Yeah.
I've decided that like my friends and I decided like
Yeah.
whenever we just want to hang out or whatever, we're
Yeah.
gonna just do it. Be like, hey, can someone just come
Yeah.
over today?
Yeah.
Another friend of mine, oh, you know, her friend Kirsten,
Yeah.
we did something like that similar, and it was so amazing. And she said that a long time ago, her friend, her old neighbor, used to just text her saying sitcom, which meant he was right at the door. So what that means is
Oh.
if you watch sitcoms, all the friends are just going in and out
Show
of
up.
each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not being, hey, are you free next Wednesday to grab
Uh,
drinks? All
uh,
this stuff. As much as we want to be respectful of each other's
yeah.
schedule, I think we're doing too much of that. We're setting too much of these boundaries. So
Hmm.
she was like, as long as like we both knew we were both home, it
Yeah.
was like, hey, sitcom. And then he had like a bottle of wine and just like
Oh.
would have like spend time together for an hour or two. And that was it. And it was like amazing. I was like, I love that. So that has been such that had brought me so much joy and happiness recently that I want to kind of spread that to everybody of like, let's not continue to think that spending time with our friends has to be a Google Calendar of
Yeah.
fitting each other in different Tetris blocks, but
Yeah.
being like, you know what, tonight, instead of spiraling down on YouTube or TikTok or
Yeah.
Instagram, I just rather have them, my friend, come over and hopefully, if she's free,
You can
perfect.
hang.
If not, then that leads to
That's
another
okay.
conversation of being like, I'm not free tonight, but I would be happy to then see you X, Y, and Z, right? So,
I think that's beautiful. So actually there's an article that I read recently that talks about this, that our
oh,
society is so focused on our electronics, so our phone and our laptops, and we're not having enough time with people in person. Everything's scheduled like months in advance.
yeah,
It's called unscheduled time. So
okay,
community bonds and like bonds with people in society get stronger when there's unscheduled time, when people can just show up at your door and hang out and like you don't have to schedule everything.
yeah.
That makes people bond more closely and communities closely. So Trevor and I were talking about this too, like that we both desire that. That's what we grew up with, but
Mm-hmm.
lately everyone's so fixated on their calendars for
Yes.
everything or Google calendars and then texting and just like not really being in person and present. So I love that this unscheduled quality time that you
Mm-hmm.
have decided with your friends is in your joy corner because I think we could all use more of that.
Yeah, exactly. So I hope everybody can feel comfortable doing that with one or two friends who live nearby. Obviously, it
Yeah.
only works with friends who live
Yeah.
nearby. But I noticed that even with the friends nearby, we would have to be
Yeah.
like, how about next Thursday? How about next
Yeah.
Wednesday? Oh, X, Y, and Z. But as soon as someone was like, I need you now,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, I'm showing up,
I'll be
right?
with it. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
um, yeah, I think that's so important.
Yeah, but I think even virtually you can do that by just like
Yeah.
calling someone, texting them,
FaceTiming.
FaceTiming. Because I think that's also unscheduled time just to catch up. And maybe that time doesn't work, but you can then find out and maybe a couple hours later you guys can chat for a little bit, you know? So
Exactly.
I love that. Anything else you want to share that's like in your joy corner
Let's see.
that you really enjoy that maybe someone doesn't know about you?
I'm not a very interesting person.
No, you
I'm very basic. I'm like, I love happy hour. I love brunch.
I think that's great. I love happy hours too and time with friends too. I think that makes a lot of sense.
um,
Joy corner.
what else? Well, recently I moved. So I have really found joy in like decorating my place. Um, yeah, I mean, I think I've just been having so much joy and happiness, like going to Home Goods by myself
Oh,
and like online shopping and putting things together on by myself. I've learned a lot about myself. So
yeah,
that's recently what I've been enjoying is just decorating my own space and
yeah.
like a little bit of a haven for
I
myself.
was gonna say it's like your safe haven, like your own like
Mm-hmm.
sanctuary of peace and happiness that you get to
Yeah,
make beautiful. Well, I
exactly.
can't wait to see it next time
Yes,
your
can't wait for you to
place.
come.
Well, we're gonna end with what we call the useless talent show.
Yeah,
I hope you thought about it.
I do.
This is another piece of like just finding joy in this season. Okay, time for the useless talent. Bowie, what's your useless talent?
So I don't know if I've ever shown you, but I'm double jointed. So I can flick a penny off of my finger.
What?
So,
Oh! Do it again.
okay, hold on. I flicked it.
What the? Wait, what do you do? How does it flick?
So I'm double jointed.
Yeah, yeah, I
So
see
I
that.
have like a little like
Oh my God, there's a little
space.
hole for the penny.
So then I can stand a penny in my finger like this and then I flick it off.
How does it flick though? What do you do with your finger?
Look.
Oh, how did you figure that out? That's like a talent you have. That's amazing.
Someone had asked me. They're like, "Oh, have you ever?" Because I was like, "Oh, I'm double jointed," and they're like, "Oh, have you ever flicked a penny off of your finger?" And I was like, "Huh?" And then he was like, "Yeah, when you do this, double jointed
Oh,
people can like have a little pouch." And then
my
I
God,
just
never knew there's a pouch.
and then I just and then
Oh! Oh my God, that is a talent.
thanks.
I need to see that in person.
Yeah, it's
Wild.
it's my
Wild.
bar trick.
No, it's good. It's an everyday trick. Wow. Thank you, Bobae. I
Thank
feel
you.
very honored to be graced with your useless talent as well.
I mean, you can't get more useless than that.
I feel like I got to know the different side of you. I
Yeah.
didn't even know you're double jointed.
Oh yeah, I'm all double jointed.
Oh, nice nails. They look
Thank you.
good.
Thank
Like
you.
green, like wicked.
Yeah.
Um, well, Bobe, I love this conversation with you. Thanks for making
Yes.
time to, go down memory lane and talk about how we became friends, our friendship stories and adventures, and learning more about your Joy Corner use of talent. But I can't wait to see you when I'm back
Yes.
in DC or whenever you come back to New York. I love
Okay.
you so
I
much.
love you so much. Thanks for having me.
To all of our friends listening,
White
white
tea.
tea!